delve deeper into the story with Rainer Rothfuss, Vice President of the Alternative for Germany party in Bavaria. Many thanks for joining us on the programme. Very nice to see you today. So what's your take on why exactly these new anti-corruption proposals are coming under criticism from some MEPs?
Yeah, first of all, I think Metsola is not right in stating that European democracy is under attack through some outside players like Qatar or Morocco. I think it's a structural, internal, it's a homegrown problem that we are seeing in European politics, in the European Parliament. And this corruption scandal surely is just the tip of the iceberg. So for me, the problem is not to improve only the regulations and to be more harsh in punishing cases of corruption. The problem is more deeply rooted. It's a lack of ethics. It's a lack of patriotism of them, which leads European parliamentarians to be prone to such corruption. And not always it's a suitcase full with money that leads to corruption. It's often also ideological interests. Like if we look at the case of the NordStream pipeline, we had seen that another member of the European Parliament, Radek Sikorski, the former foreign minister of Poland, has thanked the USA for sabotaging the Nord Stream pipelines. And the Green Member of Parliament from Germany, Kramon Taubadel, was very proud that peace politicians from Poland congratulated the Greens for stopping Nord Stream pipeline. So this means that those parliamentarians also served interests outside the European Union instead of fighting for the rights, for the interests, for the needs of those people, citizens who have voted for them and who ask for their rights and interests to be taken serious in the parliamentary work.
And to what extent do you think this anti-corruption reform is a genuine move, or perhaps it might be an attempt to save face?
I mean, of course, it's an attempt to save face, and I think it's really hard to tackle this problem. It's also hard to win back the trust of the population, and just creating another EU authority which then would deal with corruption is the regular way the EU tries to handle such cases. And if they tighten all the rules and scrutiny on members of European Parliament, it will always also hit those who are honest, and it will make their work much more difficult. So it's something where we have to really lead a deeper going debate in the political realm, involving also society, because the problem is not only in existence in the European Parliament. We see similar cases also in national parliaments.
With this push for more transparency, when it comes to the EU support for Ukraine, for instance, do you think there's enough oversight and accountability on where all that money is going? And what is Europe even actually getting in return?
Yeah, that's just another very important example, because, I mean, the debate is never being made. What are the interests, what are the benefits of the European Union and its citizens in those policies, shifting more and more resources, be it weapons or be it just funding for US weapons to Ukraine. And this also shows that there is a certain degree of what I would call ideological corruption here, because the European politicians obviously are not really seeing, are not really able to understand and to fight for the interests of the peoples, European peoples themselves. They seem to be just, supporting interests of our transatlantic partner, the United States. And this is the problem which should be addressed above all, and not only the regulations of creating a new authority or whatsoever.
Yeah, the Hungarian Prime Minister, he thinks that the European Parliament should be abolished altogether and a whole new one should be created. What do you make of that idea? Is it going a bit too far?
No, this is a very reasonable proposal. And by the way, the Alternative for Germany had made the same proposal 5 years ago. And it makes sense because it would not be the case that the European Parliament would be abolished, but the way it is composed would be different. The parliamentarians would be elected by the national populations, and they would be accountable nationally for what they do, how they represent their country in the European Parliament. Now the European parliamentarians are much more under control of the European system, and I understood this proposal in a way that Orban wants to make the representatives of each country more accountable to the member state and not only to EU institutions, and that makes a lot of sense.
Rainer Rothfuss, Vice President of the Alternative for Germany party in Bavaria. Many thanks for your time. Really appreciate your thoughts and your insight tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.